Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. So I got this question. It was a pretty basic type of thing, and it was from a friend of mine, Lucas, here in Puerto Rico. And he asked me, we were going back and forth, and he said, hey, if we were to follow the 4-year Bitcoin cycle, when is this one supposed to top out? And of course, if we take a look at it, it's very simple. We're going to use Ben's website, Into the Cryptoverse. You want to sign up for that. A lot of free things are offered on the site, but a lot of the great stuff is paid, but there's a 10% out the first month, just saying. But I was taking a look at the Bitcoin ROI after halving. There were some interesting revelations that I could say that came through. Now, when I think about how much time after the halving, usually I'm just thinking of, okay, you got about 12 months. That's usually pretty much what it is. But then I took a look at it and I went back to the cycles. So what we're looking at today is we're going to take a look at from the halving period. This was in 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024, or as far as like an ROI towards the top. And we're just going to take a look at Bitcoin, but we are going to get into altcoins, and I am going to be talking about some of the different altcoins that I'm buying. And here's a hint. I am scooping up as much as I possibly can. Unfortunately, my bank account is anemic because I've been buying throughout this entire bear market, but hey, you can only do so much. So we're taking a look here at the very first cycle. This was the genesis, the very beginning. We're taking a look at 2012. And the very first halving was on November 28th, 2012. And from that point to where it topped out for that cycle was December 2013. That's pretty crazy, right? Because you had essentially November 28th, 2012 to December 4th, 2013. That's essentially 12 months. Okay, so we got that. We know that. Let's get that out of here. Let's take a look at the second cycle. This one's a little bit odd. It took a lot more time. You can just see very simply, if we overlay them right now, you can see that the first cycle was roughly 390 days or so. But the second cycle took 500 plus days. So take a look at this one. So we said, okay, when would it happen? The halving was 2016, July 11th, and it took us to the ROI, to the very tippy top, December 16, 2017. You know what happened the next day? The next day, CME Group said, hey, we're going to do Bitcoin futures, and we're going to see how that works out. And everybody in traditional finance shorted the living tar out of Bitcoin, which, hey, it was actually proposed by Tyler Winklevoss. And he said, look, traditional finance, if you got a problem with Bitcoin, why don't you short it? And they said, okay, hold my beer. And they shorted the heck out of it. And they made a bunch of money off us. So, good for those guys. But you can just see how long this take. I mean, we're talking about from July to December. So you're looking at, 16, 17 months. So quite a bit of time. So that goes outside the range. However, if you take a look at this, and we're taking a look at ROIs again, if you just waited a year until like July, somewhere around there, you wouldn't have done too bad. You'd have been up 5x. Now, it's not as great as being up 20 or 30x, but you'd have been okay. However, this is where it comes down to cycle 3. And cycle 3 also took a little bit more time, but not too bad. And we take a look at it in 2020. This started in May of 2020. This was the halving for that year. We extrapolate all the way out to 2021. This was actually a double top. And this is why I say, like, if you just average things out, yeah, it could be 12, it could be actually 13, 14 months or so. But you would have been just fine having an ROI of 7.5x essentially. Now you could have waited all the way till November and get that sweet 7.86x on Bitcoin, but does it really matter? Especially if you were to say, you know what, I'm selling. And I'm selling before everybody else sells because I don't want to get stuck. So if you would have said that, because again, we're down here in May, done in March, you'd have been 7.13. So again, I think when we take a look at these halvings, you can say, well, okay, the cycle, and of course, not all cycles are going to match up exactly. I get that. But there are some interesting factors going on behind the scenes. One of those we actually talked about, well, on X, did a little little piece there where after every presidential election, the price never goes down below that piece. And to see what I'm talking about, let me bring up Twitter real quick. This actually was told me by Ephraim, friend of the show. And he said, hey, did you know that after every presidential election for the date of, Bitcoin never goes below that price, ever? Now, does that mean it can't do that? It can at some point, maybe, I don't know. But so far, going all the way back to November 6, 2012, it has not regressed past the price of the presidential election date, which that would be November 6, 2012. It hit $10. And believe me, that was a huge deal, going from pennies or dollars to $10. Then, of course, we had a rally. We already gone through the halving. We hit our all-time highs up here in 2013. Then we went through a dip and a reset. But it never went to $10. Same thing happened November 8, 2016 when Donald Trump was elected for the first time. It was $707 and it never went to that point. Same thing on November 4th, 2020, 14,103. It came very close because of a massive pandemic called the coronavirus. I don't know if you remember that. It was a big deal back then. And, but no, it didn't slip below that. And now, as of November 5th, 2024, that price fluctuated quite a bit. So I would just say 70,000, but from what the data that I saw was 69,432. Bitcoin will not go below that price. Does that mean altcoins won't go below? No. But for me, I feel like this right here, this time frame that we are at right now, because if we take a look at the halving on, I think it was April 20th, wasn't it? Yeah, April 20th, 2024 to today, we're up. Really? That's it? 1.5x? Huh. I thought it'd be more, but I guess not. So if we're taking a look at that and we extrapolate that time out, I think we've got a lot of time if we're looking for a year. So if the halving happened on April 20th, I would say that a safe guesstimation could be around April. Maybe you want to sell below that or before that, like in March. And it's pretty much what I told Lucas. I said, look, it's April to November, somewhere around there. You can sell in March and just relax. Now, am I saying that you have to do that? No. This is just a friend of mine who's getting pretty tired of crypto and just wants some kind of answer like, hey, man, I just want to get out. Okay, probably a good time at that point. If you want to go deeper into this whole thing and really, really dive into it, there's a link in the description where I talk about these 12 different indicators I'm using of when I'm going to personally get out. But if you're just looking at time frames, this could be a pretty good one. Now, there's a caveat to that. The caveat is as such. If the Trump administration comes in and they actually do go through with this Bitcoin reserve strategy, all bets are off. Because we could see, I mean, you could see Bitcoin going to 500,000 reasonably, right? Especially if we have the game theory. But think about it this way. Aren't we almost at 100K? We are, right? Around 95, 96,000. That's roughly another 5x from here. Not bad. It's pretty good. But here's what I'm telling you right now. My job was to buy as much Bitcoin as I could possibly do in the bear market. And I did my job. Coming into this piece, I also bought some altcoins. But coming into this piece, if you think Bitcoin can do a 5x from here, which it could, especially if we have Bitcoin reserve strategy, what do you think are going to happen with the altcoins? And before everybody says, well, I'm a Bitcoin max, I just want to do that. It's great. It's awesome. But as I look at it and we take a look at some data points, we can see that Bitcoin's not going to be the fastest horse. It's going to be the safest horse that's going to be out there to get you to the finish line. Very sturdy, very stocky, maybe not the fastest. But if we take a look at the ROI, so return on investment, from, this is 2020, November 30th. Remember that time? Ooh, it was good times. FTX was, well, Sam Bankman-Fried and a whole host of people who were upper management going through different trials. No, I have to rephrase that. It was just Sam Bankman-Fried. The rest of the people went through trials later. And that's why I think that we got screwed out of a proper bull run on the last cycle. But if we just take a look here, going back to, again, November 30th, 2020, these are just a bunch of altcoins. So you're looking from, what is this? November 30th, December 1st, somewhere around there, which is where we are right now, going back 4 years. Look at the gains you can have here. And this is in February. Let me go forward to March. So look, I don't know about you, and Bitcoin could do quite fantastic. I mean, a 5x is on the table, but once you really think like maybe like a 2x is more feasible, like maybe to 200,000. But look at your alts. And this is just in this very small amount of time frame, very, very small, from December 1st to March 15th, 2021. What I'm talking about is December 1st, which is today, to March 15th, 2025. This is just ones that the last cycle. AVAX did a 10x. I mean, BNB did essentially a 10x. ADA did a 7.5x. Doge, one of my favorites, which is 18.5x. Ethereum, 3.3. XRP, 2, but they don't have to worry about Gary Gensler anymore. Solana did an 11 and Tron did an abysmal 2x. Regardless, I understand the exuberance for Bitcoin, but right now, I think we're going to go into more of an altcoin piece. We'll see how that works out, but that's what I have there. And then Bitcoin market RO cycle, it's fine. But I just wanted to go over this again, just to really bring this home. Just a dollar cost average. You want to be safe. You can do lump sum, that's fine. But this is what it would look like if you would have done $10 a day, just $10 a day. I sound like those Sally Struthers videos forget it. It's a dumb joke. All right. If we take a look at $10 and we started to invest into Bitcoin, again, November 30th, December 1st, 2020, and just go to March, here's where you'd be. So if you put $10 in, somehow with Shiba Inu, you would have had $531,000 because you invested $1,000. And that's why I harp on meme coins sometimes. Doge, you'd be up 573%. You would have put in $1,000, you have $7,000. BNB, you'd be up 400%. Solana, 356. AVAX, 328. ADA, 245. Stacks, layer 2 solution, not layer 2. Smart contract platform for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, 86%. And look at the laggard, 75%, which I got to tell you, I know people are really excited about Ethereum right now. They're like, oh, look at that chart. It's so beautiful. And it may have a breakout time, but let me come back here. This is Aether, great DePIN project. But look over like the 30 days. I mean, maybe it could run. Ethereum's up 48% in 30 days. That's pretty good. But I mean, look at XRP, almost 70%. BNB is the worst, 15% so far. But look at Dogecoin, 170. Cardano, 200%. 82% for Shiba Inu, Avalanche, 80%. So can Ethereum really start to move? I don't know, but I got to tell you, lately, I've been having nothing but bad circumstances with Ethereum and what I've been doing as far as like moving things around to get certain tokens on Aerodrome. And I talked about that in X. I don't really want to talk about it here because every time I talk about something negative about Ethereum, people get all bent out of shape about it, even though I got to tell you, we talked about this yesterday and I asked you guys to do something for me. I don't know if you did it. It would be great if you did. I said, I need you guys to go and download Phantom Wallet. I need you to use it, swap things out. I wanted you also to go to Jupiter. And I gave you both of those. This is the DEX that connects to Phantom, one of the many. Then I said, I also want you to go and download the Coinbase wallet, and I want you to use Aerodrome. And I want you to tell me which one is the simplest, which one is the fastest, which one is the cheapest. I know we can have a debate about centralization versus decentralization. I got it. But I still know that Solana is a lot more decentralized than Chase Bank and Wells Fargo. I'm just going to throw that out there. So that's all we have for that piece. But anyhow, know what you think about that in the comment section. And lastly, I'll just say that the things that I'm buying right now, first of all, I like this piece from Charles Hoskinson. I don't know if you know this guy, founder of Cardano, but he's been very chummy lately with the different crypto products, even though he has been quite that guy that has been pretty negative on all other chains. But he said this, he goes, look, one suggestion I have for all of us in the Cardano community is to let the comments and opinions of the past go and embrace a full reset of all ecosystems. As you know, I've been prickly, that's a pretty good word, towards other communities, and I've apologized to Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, and others. And he just talks about how it's time to really rally around each other because it's really us versus them. I got to appreciate that. So as far as me and what I'm buying right now, I'm still buying Bitcoin, but I'm not buying it every day. I'm buying it in in weekly sums. I am not buying Ethereum. I just don't see it. I still have Ethereum. I'll let it ride, but as we approach into this massive bull run, I will dump 80 to 95% of all my Ethereum. I buy Solana every day. I've been dabbling a little bit in XRP, and people say, why XRP? The narrative. Do I believe in the technology and how great it is? Not really. I know people love it, and they think it's going to be awesome for cross-border payments and on-demand liquidity, but to me, it's just a narrative. Let's see if they can prove it out. I kind of fall along the lines with the Stanley Druckenmillers and just say, look, just invest in something and then do the research. It'll force you to get in there. So I might be talking more about XRP. I don't buy BNB anymore. I think it's fine. I've been buying Dogecoin every 3 days. I've been buying Cardano. I've been skipping Shiba, which I probably shouldn't. Avalanche, no. Bitcoin, no. Still a Polkadot. Not. I have tons of Chainlink, so I'm keeping that. SWI, I buy, this is every 48 hours. I also buy Pepe every 48 hours. Where else am I? Those are a bunch of stuff. Bonk, I still buy every 72 hours. Stacks, I buy that once a week. Nope. Nope. There's one more. Oh, and Aether. But Aether is a deep in play. And also there was one more that someone had recommended to me as I was talking about Aether, which is an AI deep in play, was Nosana. That's what it was called. And I was like, let's take a look at Nosana. Nosana. Nosana is also an AI deep in play. GPUs and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, I bought just a little bit, but I like the, where'd it go? Look at this. The supply is 100 million, and they've almost got it all circulating. I'll get behind that. And market cap is 317 million. It's below, well, it's not even, it's in the top 300. So we'll see. And that's pretty much what I'm buying right now. I may have forgotten a couple of them, but that's pretty much it. So right now, just so everybody knows, I'm trying to buy as much as I possibly can in this 4-month golden ticket window, because I think that if everything kind of stands up to the test of time, and there's been no more better bullishness than what we've seen right now. Remember, in 2020, we were buying when essentially the administration was against us, and that was the Trump administration and the Biden administration. Don't ever forget that. Trump was not a supporter of Bitcoin and digital assets. He actually said that he prefers the dollar over everything else. Fine. Michael Saylor also wasn't a big fan of Bitcoin pre-2013 or 2016 or 17 and below. Actually, no, 2019 and 20. He made one comment in 2013. We never had, we didn't have a lot of senators. We didn't have the House Congress coming in that was essentially super bullish. We didn't have the liquidity that was really coming. Well, actually, that's not true. And liquidity we did have because of the coronavirus. We're still in Afghanistan. We still have wars going on, just like Ukraine and Russia, but that's not our war, even though we're funding the whole thing. And yeah, there's a lot of things that were going on that were not near as bullishness as what we have right now. So I think that we got 4 months of a golden ticket, that it's tough. I think it'll be very good if we invest the right way. And that's it for today. So look, like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Now, let's go over the Q&A, and everybody can get out of here and go watch football. And that's for that piece. All right, buddy, what do we have today? Naruto says, Pith. I own Pith. It's a Oracle. Essentially, it pulls data into the blockchain, but it's on Solana. Not but it's on Solana. It's on Solana. And I own some of it, just haven't really added more bags to it. Because remember, like, all the things I just rattled off, you're probably like, why doesn't he get into this one? Or why doesn't he do that one? Because Rob is not made of money. And I can't buy everything, even though I like to, but I can't. Ooh, awesome. Doug says, Rob, did you see Guy's video with Coinbase Programmer? Crypto AI agents are going to be a great way to onboard normies, I think. That'd be cool. And I want to also thank everybody for this. I asked you to follow Wrecked Burgundy. He's an AI agent that was created over on Virtuals. And if you've ever seen, this is Wrecked Burgundy right here. Let's see. If you've ever seen the movie Anchorman, this is essentially from there. Will Ferrell, Anchorman, all those great actors. Pretty funny. And they actually created this on Virtuals. And when you follow him, it's an AI-generated agent and says funny stuff. Where did I? Like this guy. Crazy Diamond said, okay, I followed Wreck Burgundy and I asked Wreck Burgundy for some philosophical insight. What's your answer for life, the universe, and everything? And this is just from AI. And again, like, you can set up the way you want it. My friend, I'm a journalist, not a philosopher, but I'd say the answer is 69. It's the only number that makes everyone's story interesting. Look, I can't make this up. This is AI. This is what we're using it for. I thought that was pretty good. So Doug, thanks for that. I'll check that video out. Word, Bitcoin dominance starting to fall. ETH's going to be okay. ETH's going to be fine. I mean, all the different big institutions want it to work. So let's see. But I got to tell you, man, I've been really trying to use layer 2s. I've been really trying to use ETHEREUM, and I have had nothing but problems. And just follow me on X, and you'll see what it is. Now, someone will say, well, you just do this, just do this, just do this. That's why I was begging everybody, just go try out Phantom Wallet and Jupiter, and then also use the Coinbase wallet. Don't use MetaMask. If you use MetaMask, you're going to throw your computer across the room. Use the Coinbase wallet. At least it interfaces pretty well. And go to ETHEREUM and check that out. Tell me which one you like the best. We need to flip Schiff. Peter Schiff. You know, Peter Schiff lives right in the street from me. Nice guy. Lord says, hey, Rob, that green screen is going to get frigid soon. You ready for that green screen ice plunge? Yeah, I mean, as soon as Bitcoin hits 100K, I jump in this pool behind me. Yeah. Random Dude's always got good insights. Mark Andreessen, who was on Joe Rogan recently, I recommend you guys watch that video. There are some scary things that he said about being unbanked and how America is essentially becoming, well, you just watch that and you make your own decisions. Mark Andreessen made a great point. The only way politicians can release videos in the future is on a blockchain because of AI fakes. And this kind of comes back to what Michael Saylor was talking about, as far as like to be able to verify who you are. And the only way you can do that is to an incorruptible computerized network. And the only way that's incorruptible and hard to hack or impossible to hack would be Bitcoin. And that's why he has embraced ordinals. Ordinals and runes, if you're not familiar with them, ordinals are like the NFTs on Bitcoin, and runes are kind of like the meme coins that you'll see running around everywhere else. So an ordinal is a non-fungible token, and essentially that you can prove your ID. I think if they want to go that route, that's the way to go. Because, and people say, well, what about this? And what about, you know, gumming up the blockchain? Look, there'll be layer 2s on that, and it'll work just fine. Link is a superior choice, perhaps. Jupe? Benjamin? Yes. Polka Starter? Nope. Toby? Hi, Toby. AMP? I have some AMP. I just haven't added to it. Let's see. Seattle says, what are you heavily investing in heavily over the next 4 months? Whatever it is, I probably haven't invested enough into it right now. But if I had to pick, it's not Bitcoin, because I got plenty of that. And again, if we're looking for ROI, if you're looking at ROI over 20 years, I don't have enough Bitcoin. That just makes sense. But if we're looking at ROI into altcoins, which will give me those returns, so I can sell those, so I can put it back into Bitcoin during the bear market, I don't have enough altcoins. Even though, let me show you something. Don't make fun of me, because actually you should, because it's a lot. Here's my, I gotta update this. I say this every time, I gotta update this. But here is my portfolio. In the very last tab there, you'll see other, 67 other altcoins. Yeah, that's right. As of June, as of January of the beginning of the year, I had all these. Bitcoin's the lion's share. Ethereum, Sol, Near, Cardano, Avax, Link, Stacks, Arbitrum, Unilex, Ejectable, Cosmos, Polygon, and a bunch of different things I talked about. So what am I injecting into, or going into heavily? You know, if I had to pick one, actually, I think it's going to be a battle between SWI and Sol, quite honestly. SWI, Sol, and Cardano. I could see that. It just depends on if what Charles Hoskinson is talking about him talking to Congress, giving insight into the Trump transition team or whatever he's doing. If that all comes out to be 100% true and there's not any basis to it, watch Cardano rip. And also on the fact that, like we just talked about, as far as like with runes and ordinals, how it's very difficult. Because it kind of slows things down a little bit. Ordinals a little bit more than runes. If you had a layer 2 solution on top of Bitcoin, you wouldn't have as many issues as you do. And guess what? Because of Bitcoin OS, they actually turned, and we talked about this like a month ago, it turned Cardano into essentially a layer 2 solution or a sidechain or whatever they want to call it. But you can use that for transaction fees and as a vehicle. So yeah, I could see Solana, SWI, and Cardano battling it out. Tom's got a good question. Which one of those wallets is best to use? I actually asked this question in X, and I said, you know, MetaMask is awful. I'm not a big fan of that. Just the user interface and the connectivity problems. Some people will say, you got to get this wallet called Rabbi. Probably not Rabbi. That sounds kind of religious. But this is Rabbi wallet. And all right. But me personally, I use Phantom. The wallet I use the most, honestly, I still have to use MetaMask because some different dealings that I had to go through, and that's what everybody has my address there. So that one, Phantom. And I use a lot of Xverse wallet, which is the Bitcoin blockchain wallet for my runes, which like Dog Go to the Moon and Billy, stuff like that. The SWI wallet I don't use too much. And now I've been recently dabbling in the Coinbase wallet, which I'll be honest with you, isn't that fantastic, but sure. But that's it. Let's see. I prefer Near. I like Near too. I have a bunch of them, just not adding to it right now. And Render is another AI play, which will do probably pretty well. Rob, do you have a favorite AI meme coin? Right now, it's Wrecked Burgundy. That one's hilarious. I love that one. Oh, but the meme coin that I really like It's tomato coin. And I keep getting this question. If you are a staker or a delegate in the DNews Cardano stake pool, I gave you guys an airdrop of this in 2021. I will give you another airdrop if you are delegating, and we're supposed to do this in December sometime, and we're here, just don't know when. So if you haven't staked with your Cardano, link in the description for this website and how to stake your Cardano. But yeah, as far as that one, Dr. Burgundy is pretty funny. Promise, I am not. I wish. Actually, the only thing I wish is just to be healthy. I'm crushing that part so far. That's all I really care about. Sick person or a healthy person has 1,000 wishes, and a sick person has 1. Yeah. JQ says, thank God I didn't go through with selling my OG coins, Algo, XRP, and ADA. And you know what? I think the ones that deserve the credit, I mean, if you bought XRP at $2, well, you know, it took you 4 years and you're back to square one. Great. I mean, hey, Cardano, you know, maybe you bought it at 250, you're still underwater. Algo, I don't know what it is, but I think the ones that deserve the biggest credit, and JQ might be one of those, is the ones that actually added to their positions, especially like XRP. Look at this. This is the Virtuals protocol, which is where Rect Burgundy is being housed. But look at that price action. Rank number 92. If you don't know Virtuals protocol, that's where all the AI agents are, and you can create your own meme coin, and then you can connect it essentially to your social media platforms like X, and it'll actually interact with people like what Rect does. But for XRP, I was just looking at this today, and I thought to myself, man, the people that had the conviction, let's max out here. From say here, 2021 was the high, April 13th, the $1.79, pretty good. So you're beyond that. Now, if you bought up here, people are like, oh, it was like $3 and whatever. Let's say $3.50, I don't know. If you kept buying down here at 28 cents and you had all this, and this is the power of the bear market. This is a great example of the power of dollar cost averaging in the bear. You could have accumulated for here for as long as you got paid, right? I mean, your job or your business doesn't pay you billions of dollars every week, right? You got to, once that money comes in, then you can actually spend it. But if you had that conviction, wow, good for you. Then maybe you hopefully sold some here. I don't know. And then you could have bought down here for how many years? 2022, 1, 2, 2.5 years. Wow. At like 49 cents, 38 cents, 44 cents, 30. Yeah. That, I think, those guys deserve a tip of the hat that did that. And see, that's what I want everybody to remember, which is, it's hard to remember, is when we get into the next bear market, which it's coming, I mean, at some point, that all the money is made in dollar cost averaging in the bear. It's not about, like, I made all this money in the bull market. You did a lot of planning and you did a lot of sacrifices. And that's the ones that actually make it pretty well. Ooh, okay, yeah. So Ondo took profits. Should I get back in? What's your thoughts on Ondo? I think this is a real world asset play. And I think that'll be monstrous. And I think I've heard that BlackRock is investing into that, but I'm not 100% for sure on that one. But I have a little Ondo. I just haven't added much to it. How much of a market cap can Pepe really go? Let me ask you this. How much of a market cap can Doge really go? Because Doge is the original meme coin, and it seems to not bother anybody when it gets to, what is it, rank number 6 now? And I got to tell you, it's been very nice. Let me see. Now it's 7th. Oh, it's a long way 7 too. So Dogecoin has a market cap of 64 billion. So if let's see where Pepe's at. Pepe's got 9 billion. So could Pepe do a 6x from here? Sure, why not? And that would be awesome, because I don't know, let's see. Like my Roth IRA has Pepe, Bonk, Doggo Fat, and Doge. And so far, Doge has been beating, as far as the gains, it's been beating everything. I think right now it's a number 3 spot. So yeah. Oh, as a reminder, if you'd like to get into a retirement account, Roth IRA, iTRUST Capital is right there. You can wait until next year to donate to this year, but I like to keep everything pretty much set and standard, especially for bookkeeping. So for me, I've already contributed the maximum amount I can to my Roth IRA. And I got to tell you, the longer that you wait to get into a Roth, because remember, this is tax exempt. So like, if you would have bought Bitcoin when I bought Bitcoin, which was the middle of the year when I messed up, I should have bought it at the very early, but it was around 50,000, right? So that's doubled already. If you wait until next year to do a Roth IRA, then you're going to buy Bitcoin at, I don't know what it's going to be. And that means that you're going to put it in there, and it's just easier to do things and get more when things are cheaper as opposed to when they're more expensive. I don't know why. I think you all know that. But if you want to start moving on that, it's a pretty good idea. And let me remind you, Peter Thiel, you know, he has over $5 billion in his Roth IRA. Do you know how he did that? So he took his PayPal shares, which were worth absolutely nothing in the late 90s, whenever it went public. Maybe 2001, forget. But he put his PayPal shares in his Roth IRA worth pennies. And of course, they've ballooned up massively. So he put less than X amount of thousands of dollars in. Now it's worth $5 billion. And guess what? That's all tax exempt. So if you put Bitcoin, whatever you can afford, into this Roth IRA, and it goes to 500,000 per Bitcoin, and you have to take it out or do whatever you want with it, it's tax exempt. So I'm just telling you, I think now would be a better time than later. So links in the description for iTrust. And yeah. Vatican says, good morning, Rob. Do you see NIR as a good buy to triple my money? I think everything's pretty good actually right now. I'm feeling pretty bullish, which is a scary situation because I'm usually not this bullish. NIR is ranked 24th, and it is 8.4 billion market cap. I wonder what. Oh, hey, that's pretty good. Max supply is infinite. I wonder what their, and this could be, and don't freak out when you see max supply infinity. You might think to yourself, oh my God, that means that they're just printing like crazy. No, it's just their inflation rate. Could be 1%, could be 2%, could be 9%, I don't know. I think Solana is around 5%. Used to be like 6.5%, and their goal is 1.5. But look at this, the circulating supply, 1,217,906,000, is almost the same as their total supply. So there's no more unlocks. That's a good thing to know, because if there's unlocks and they dump all these tokens onto retail or to whoever, they're going to get dumped on, and that's not going to happen because they already released everything. Trading volume, fully diluted, yeah, same thing here. It all depends on execution. Where are their partners? How much TVL do they have locked up? But I will tell you, between us, I think what will move these is retail will come in and they'll look at Bitcoin and go, oh man, Bitcoin's 120,000. I can't afford 120,000. So maybe I'll look for something smaller, and they'll buy Doge and they'll buy XRP for whatever centralized exchange. They won't even use DEXs. And they'll probably see NIR and go, oh, that's a pretty good one. What's that? Oh, it's AI. Oh, I heard that's a big narrative. Oh, it's been around for how long? Oh, it looks pretty good. And before you know it, that price will go up. So to say triple, Well, what was their all-time high? Oh, yeah. Yeah. If it just goes back to its all-time high, you tripled. So, sure. That was easy. Larry says, I wonder how the cycle will change if Trump actually has a reserve. I'll probably sell my Bitcoin and Trump will then announce it the next day. That's why, like for Bitcoin, like Sailor will say you never sell your Bitcoin. But Sailor probably doesn't have a lot of bills to pay. And I don't know if you have $1 billion company with which you can borrow against your shares. If you can, yes, you should probably keep all your Bitcoin, but maybe sometimes you want to have a little bit of freedom. Maybe you don't want to be chained down to the 9-to-5 desk job that is sucking your soul out of your body. And maybe you just want to have the freedom to just do what you want when you want. At that point, maybe that would be time to sell. Yeah. Sui and Nira, great. See, pal, I told you. What are you investing heavily over the next 4 months? Essentially what I just said, all those different cryptos, the same thing. Sometimes I buy every day. Sometimes I buy every 2 days. Sometimes every 3 days. Sometimes every week. But those will fluctuate. They will fluctuate because when the data changes, I change. So if there's some massive news and partnerships, if let's say Walmart comes out and says, you know what we really need? We really need this AI aspect. We really need Near Protocol to help us do that. I'll probably buy a lot of Near Protocol at that point and just ride that all the way up. Or if Amazon Web Service comes out and says, you know what, we like what we see with Solana, we're going to use that. Or if Solana gets an ETF, I'll probably buy more Solana as time goes on. Right now, I'm just kind of scattering my funds around and see which one hits. I don't care if 9 fail. As long as 1 makes it, I'm pretty good. I feel pretty good about these. Crop says, layer 2 is where the money at. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes it's difficult to use in these really bad wallets. Someone needs to check on Pete's well-being. So Peter Schiff is doing just fine as he's, wiping down his tears with his gold bars and billions of dollars. He'll be okay. I still think that Peter Schiff probably has a big, massive amount of Bitcoin that he's accumulated. Remember, his website did take Bitcoin, and I believe he released a group of Bitcoin ordinals not too long ago. You have to Google it, but yeah. What do you plan to hold in the next bear market? Bitcoin worked out pretty well this time, so probably the same thing. Because as Bitcoin goes down, and you can just look at the history, Ben does a great job with this. And you'll see all the altcoins just get decimated. And that's probably what will happen again. Because like a lot of these altcoins, like I don't even know, like I understand that they have a function, but I'm like, who actually uses this stuff? Because when I talked yesterday about using Aerodrome and using the Coinbase wallet, I know people use it and they talk about how great it is, but I'm like, do you talk about how great it is because you own the token Aerodrome, or do you talk about how great it is because you use it every single day and it's indispensable in your every day-to-day life? That was my question. And I think I know the answer, but I had to ask everybody. Darren says, Rob, do you mind me finishing off my ADA bag up to around $1.25? Sure. Let's accumulate then. Again, if Charles comes out and he says, look, this is I'm part of this cabinet, or I'm doing a live stream of me explaining to all the senators of the great 50 states of how everything works, and we've set a deal. That's it. And I know some people will say, well, Charles is just lying through his teeth and he just is trying to find a use case for Cardano, but that's a pretty elaborate lie, first of all, but we'll see. Column says, yo, Rob, is Ledger still a safe hardware? Yeah, I still use it. I don't like it. I mean, it's very cumbersome, but it's very safe. It's actually the reason why it's so safe because people hate to use it. I don't know if you like to use a Ledger. I cannot stand using it. What I do like to use, it's right here, is my TANGEM wallet. This is not a green screen. Yeah. Yeah, I just, like when I want to send somebody something, I just do this and then swipe and that's it. Nothing else. It's great. But yeah, Ledger still works. I mean, it hasn't had a data breach. I take that back. It's never had any crypto hacked. It has had a data breach where if you bought a Ledger, I think it was 2 years ago or before, yeah, hackers got all that information. So sorry about that. That's on Ledger. Does the Phantom Wallet have a ghost type icon? Yes. So yesterday I did a link to the Phantom Wallet and to the Coinbase wallet, the official websites. But just so you know, it's Phantom, PHANTOM .app for Phantom. And Coinbase wallet is just coinbase.com/wallet. That's it. Captain Moonlight, thoughts on Trump making ADA, Algo, and HBAR exempt from capital gains tax? Sure would be great. The question that I have, though, is he talking, because he talked about exempt from taxes. And I'm wondering, is he talking about capital gains tax? Or is he talking about the companies like, say, Ripple that are operating in the United States to not tax them as a corporate entity? Or is it both? Is he going to say, hey, you can come to America or come back to America. We won't charge anything that you guys do, which would be kind of weird. You know, like we won't charge you for, you know, any of type of, you know, corporate tax at 21%. We're not going to have any payroll tax for you for right here. And that's it. And also people who invested with you, and that could be if you're a public company, then they won't pay any capital gains on their equities. And if they have the token, they won't pay any capital gains on the price appreciation. I'm not for sure what they mean. That's why I say, like, people say that, and it's true, that politicians are liars. It's because when they make these campaign promises, they paint a pretty broad picture to make it simple for simpletons like myself. And then when they say, hey, but you said no taxes. Well, I did say that. But what I'm talking about is this specific tax in this specific state and this specific circumstance, but not all taxes. Come on, that's not what I'm saying. And you're like, oh, you didn't explain that to me. So that's where it all comes down to. I don't know. Any thoughts on VeChain and Sui? I still own some VeChain somewhere in some random wallet in a galaxy far, far away. And Sui, I think I buy that every 2 days or so. So yeah. Thoughts on Algorand? Seems to be pretty good. I don't own any myself, but people seem to love it. Karate Combat is built on it. Rebecca, friend of the show, seems to love that. I just don't have any. Ether Soul, which to go heavier in. If you want to be safe for this cycle, I mean, people will say, but it's going to do so well. But I'm like, God, I've been trying to use it, and it's just so, it's not so difficult. It's just a little bit more cumbersome, a little bit more expensive. It just is. But then when I use Solana, it's like everything is fast and cheap and whatever else. Again, decentralization versus centralization. I'm just telling you, Solana is a little bit more decentralized than, say, Chase Bank. So if it was me, I had to pick, I just buy a bunch of Solana right now. Also, if you think that Solana and this meme coin super cycle are coming, how many meme coins are being built on Ethereum layer 2s? There's a good amount. You got a point. True. How many meme coins are being built on Solana? Quite a bit. Now, Pump.Fun had a 33% reduction in their volume of meme coins being created because they did away with the live stream service. And the reason why they did away from the live stream service was because people were misrepresenting and mishandling themselves, doing some really wacky stuff over there. So they shut that down because it was bordering on the insane. So that cut a good amount, but we'll see. But for me, like, I'm getting old, man, and I just want stuff to work. I don't know how much time I got on this planet. I don't want to be dicking around with a bunch of like layer 2 stuff. But again, that's why I wanted you guys to go do those 2 tests and tell me what you thought. Good morning. Charlie on Cardano. I think that's one of their oracles. I remember that from a long time ago. Pith is coiling up. What about Psy? Probably do well. It's got a good narrative. I don't own any. Caspa is the best. That's what they say. Solana is a big S. Unlocks don't matter in a bull run. Lori's probably right because everything gets absorbed as people just start dumping and buying, and people are buying and buying and buying. Cardano was a big S. Yeah, see? I like the Phantom. Nice user interface. And Creek says it correctly. The best time to invest, of course, was at the all-time lows when we had a bear market. Actually, the best time to invest was when nobody knew about this stuff. You know, when Bitcoin was like $1, that's probably the best time to invest. But it was also super duper risky, and it was a long time. So like right now, I think that this is that sweet spot. Like it only took us 4 years to get here, you know? And you're at that sweet spot where we know that Bitcoin has never gone below the price of the presidential election day, ever. Altcoins can, but they have so much upside, especially if you're dealing with like the top 100 or so, that's like right now, I think this is the sweet spot between the risk and the reward. I think now is the time. Up until March, then all bets are off. I can't help you there. And at that point, maybe you're just like, time to sell. Axel, what do you think about Meld? I think we just talked about this yesterday. But I'll tell you. So over here, you see that? I'll say this story again until everybody understands it. That's Meld. And people say, why do you still have that? Because Meld is collapsing. It's actually shutting down its doors on December 31st. We did a live stream, and people were saying that there was a note or a post that Meld was shutting down. I text Ken Oling, who is the founder. I said, is this true? Is this going on? And he wrote me back. He said, yeah. He goes, we've had 3 or 4 of our biggest investors just all pull out, sell everything for unknown reasons. And then the VCs that we were talking to don't want to, and here's an interesting story. All the VCs that they talked to said, unless your project is AI or memes, we do not want to talk to you. And they would say, yeah, we can talk a little bit. And they're like, no. And he said, so most of the ones that we got into, that's all they want to do. So when you think about meme coins being risky, they're real risky because these VCs come in, they open up 1,000 different wallets, they all own them, and then they get the meme coins and they dump on you. So they said, yeah, well, he goes, it's with a heavy heart, we're going to have to shut it down. So I left this up right here to remind everybody that if you think that every single thing that you're going to do is going to be a winner, you're going to be wrong. And it's just like the statistics of small businesses. Within 5 years, 50% of all small businesses in the United States will collapse. And Meld was no different. So what do I think about Meld? I think it was a decent project that could have done quite well. But the problem was, and I talked to Ken about this, I said, how many people signed up for the service? And he said, well, we had so much interest in investors, but then when we actually rolled it out to do neo-banking, we had like 100 signups. And that's right there when I knew that if we don't start using Web3 and digital assets and cryptos for what they're intended to, this whole thing will collapse. So that's what it comes down to. That's why I'll be working very closely with World Mobile Token as they roll out their nationwide phone plan, cell phone service, talk, text, and data. Because I want people to, it's a superior service, I think, and I need people to actually use the thing that they're investing into. Because if not, we're just playing a Ponzi game. Don't you use Tangem app? I do. I use Tangem. I use Tangem all the time. It's pretty great. So Crypto Itachi says, Ben Cowan, aka Ben Coward, has been hiding in the lap of Bitcoin for 3+ years, and he missed a ton of gains. Itachi, it's not about like I beat you at this and I had more ROI this. I am coming from a sector where everything collapsed in 2021 or 2022. Remember Voyager and Celsius? Oh, I do. Remember FTX and BlockFi? Oh, yeah. Remember Luna? That's the opposite side. So you could have a ton of gains on Solana. You can have a ton of gains on Dogecoin. You can have a ton of gains on random memes and whatever else. But the safest play, risk versus reward, is Bitcoin. And it's been like that forever. So Ben was just like, look, you can go and gamble. Go follow Digital Asset News. He'll talk to you about it. Or if you want to be safe and just not have too much worries, then just do Bitcoin. The guy with the least worries at the end of the day is the winner. That's what it comes down to. Earl Powell is heavily in Solana. Suggests he may reallocate a significant amount to SWI. This is a recent review on crypto. Right, two interesting people. So, yeah, I mean, that's not why. I'm buying both of those because the narrative itself. First of all, I know Solana works. SWI I've used. I've also got Blub as a, let me just show, well, I got Blub as a meme coin, which is a meme coin on SWI. And I've used the wallet and it works just great. And it was like super simple to use and the fees were low. And I was like, that actually works. So yeah, why not? I mean, Gotius Maximus, that is an AI. Actually, that was a meme coin a while ago. And then I forgot the AI agent that picked it up and started to talk about it. And then it blew up. But it's not my favorite because I didn't get into it early enough. That's why. Yeah, Shalin says, do we really think payments are a problem to be solved? They're a problem for businesses, not consumers. Credit cards are better for us. We need cash back. And Shalin, I think you suffer from the same thing that I suffer from. It's first world itis. I'm not going to say some woke nonsense, but I'm just saying, like, when I think about like payments and stuff like that, I'm like, who needs payments? I've got all these debit cards and banks, and I've got Zelle and Venmo and PayPal and blah. But of course, like in a lot of other countries, they don't have that. They do have a smartphone, which is amazing to me. If you take a look at the statistics, I think it's over 89% of the entire world is a smartphone. Very limited basic features, but it is a smartphone. They can use that and actually connect. But those people need payments, and the people that are unbanked, the people that are out there. So I think, like, for a lot of things, and so here's another example. In certain parts of the world, and correct me if I'm wrong, from everybody who's tuning in from parts of Europe and Southeast Asia and different areas, maybe even China as you get around the Great Firewall. But you cannot invest into digital assets or crypto specifically. You have to do some kind of proxy. So for that type of thing, and like cross-border payments, it's a big hassle. So I think for you guys, in a global scale, I think there is. Now here, I pay you whatever, right? And in Puerto Rico, I'll just use ATH, I'll just use straight cash. Although I hate using cash. But I think that there's people that really need that service, and that is an untapped potential. And that's why real world assets being tokenized. Here's another example. So let's say, that's not it. There. Let's say I want to buy a skyscraper just for funsies, right? And like, well, sir, that's 1.5 billion. Well, I don't have 1.5 billion. How about this? Instead of doing a real estate investment trust, an REIT, we're going to tokenize this whole thing. We're going to put it in the blockchain, and people from the entire globe, doesn't matter where you're at, you can invest into that. And as the price appreciates, and if we ever sell it, then you get part of the proceeds. I think those types of things will open up global economies and go from there. So that's how I see it. And tell me what you all think. Hey. Rune shopping is more difficult than Christmas shopping. It is, because everybody got these airdrops, and they're all chunked together. So like Dog Go to Moon and Billy, you can't just buy one Billy or one Dog Go to Moon. You got to buy like 8,345. It's weird. That's how it is. Creek says best currency, cryptocurrency to invest in, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. Safest is Bitcoin. Go down the list of what I just talked about. But I like Doge. I think Doge will be well. You know why I like Doge? I've said this, I'll say this again. You're going to keep hearing about this government sector or this government organization called Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. And people are going to hear Doge constantly, especially if they watch Fox News or any kind of news these days. You're going to hear about Doge. And they're going to see Elon Musk, who's sitting on Doge with Vivek Ramaswamy. And then you're going to see, if you have X or Twitter, you're going to see these posts about how Doge go to the moon. And Doge is going to be great for the governments. And it's going to help us out for reducing unused tax dollars. You'd be like, and the normies have no idea what that is. And they're going to look at that and go, I saw that on Coinbase. I saw that on Binance. I saw that. And they just start buying Doge. They have no idea. I'm okay with that. And I'm not here to explain to everybody. So they're going to buy it. And first of all, it's not $100,000 to buy Doge. It's 46 cents. So yeah. Lawrence says, Rob, with the Department of Education being dismantled, will there be questions on blockchain education in schools? Will they make people pay university tuition type money for the free info, but specialized? I was just talking, I was at the beach yesterday, saw my friend Ephraim, kids were there. And we were just talking about, like the amount of education, the amount of financial education we got going through high school was Zippo, zilch. I know in other countries, you guys actually do a better job than us, but in America, it's just awful. I think they tell me how to write a check and that was it. But can you imagine if first of all, the Department of Education goes away, which is great, give that money back to the states and they can decide what is best for the people that live within their state regions. And then you can go in there and say, okay, we're going to teach you about the things you actually need to know about, which is, first of all, what do you do with your finances? How do you save? How do you invest? Where does money come from? What is money? What is sound money? Where does inflation come from? And that would be a big thing. I didn't know where inflation came from before I got into Bitcoin. I don't know if you're the same way, but if it wasn't for Bitcoin, I would just have thought inflation was some magic thing that happens on some literal printing press where they print out dollars and they have sheets of dollars and they hold them up. And that would be, I guess, inflation. And I didn't know how that really affected me. Now, of course, that I know it, I'm like, wow, the government is an entire big scam. So let's hope so. It's a good question. Oh, yeah. Ask a Canadian trucker. That's true. Remember when they had the Justin Trudeau, him and the Canadian government, they pretty much shut down the protest of these Canadian truckers because they were doing I think it was a PayPal service for a funding, and they just totally shut them down, just like that. And all your money's gone. And I don't even know what even happened with that money that actually was raised. So yeah, ask a Canadian trucker, ask anybody who's done that, and the banks have shut them down. Actually, go watch that video with Andreessen Horowitz on Joe Rogan, where he talks about him and a bunch of his friends and a bunch of people he knows were actually debanked because of their political affiliations. That's in America. And it's very, very disheartening to hear about. Tomato coin is a chosen coin by the Philly mob. Tomatoes coin, as they call it. Tomatoes. It's pretty funny. Welcome. Pavo or pollo? Aquí es de pollo. Everything here is. Yo creo en Ciudad Juárez, siempre la palabra pavo. No es incorrecto. Es de pollo. Yo quiero un pollo y carne. The question is, do you call it chicken or chicken? And here it's always pollo. What do you think about Near? I think the people that are running are doing a great job. Just hope it does. It has more influence and it has more people coming in and it has more projects. Yeah. And as I speak, Near is down, of course. Thoughts on Brett? Didn't Brett have a big pump? Brett is a meme coin on base. And I have some, just obviously probably not enough, but we'll see. Huh. Evil Gibbetron. Did you know most banks in the UK making in very awkward to transfer fiat into crypto exchanges had to move banks to get back to the market? Thoughts? I'm not going to have a thought about that one, which makes a lot of sense. But I'm going to ask you guys who are outside the United States. How long does it take to move your money in a bank? Does it take seconds, minutes? Does it take 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours? Because I'm just going to tell you, like from my bank to another bank, if I do a wire transfer, you know it takes between 24 and 72 hours in America? Yeah, that's right. As I understand it, in like the UK, Australia, parts of Europe, it takes like seconds. I don't know what the heck happened to banks here, but they suck. Seattle says, Rob, as a rich man, how many life-preserving supplements and injections are you taking? What's your favorite ones, and who's your dealer? We don't want to look like you and our bags go moon. So I was on, for a stint of about a year, a little TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. And then I just said, I don't like doing this gel. And I stopped. And then I started to figure out that my diet was trash, especially when I took a look at my lab levels and my hemoglobin A1C, which checks your glucose levels over about 2 to 3 month time frame, was around 6 or 7. If you don't know what that is, that means that your glucose is high and you're essentially pre-diabetic. So what I started to do was take a look more at nutrition. The only thing I do these days, I don't take any supplements. I don't even take any creatine. I probably drink a little too much wine. That's true, or beer. Can't help it. But the one thing that I do now is that I do fasting every so often. Like I just, like about 3 weeks ago, did a fasting for 5 days, and I only eat meat or a carnivore diet. I have a steak for breakfast. I have a steak for lunch, and I have a sensible steak and maybe some eggs for dinner. And I work out every day, and I go to the beach. And also, I think the biggest thing, Paddler, is this. I don't have to deal with anybody's BS. I don't have to answer to anybody. I make my own schedules, and I'm pretty much stress-free. And everything I just said, that is not, Bitcoin can give you those things, but Bitcoin is not those things. I think the biggest thing that I did was just move here to Puerto Rico and not give a care in the world. And that's it. Black Cat says, I'm heavily weighted in big cap meme coins, but I'm afraid their time has passed. Will there be more pumpage for the big memes? You know, I thought about this. I want you guys to look at this diagram that I made. It's called flow. I probably want to see this. And you know how we all know how this works in typical fashion, right? For digital assets. You have cash goes to Bitcoin. You're either buying Bitcoin or you're buying into the new global finance system, whichever you want to call it. Then you take some profits on Bitcoin, you put them in large cap alts. Or like me, you just buy large cap alts. Then you take some profits on those and you go to mid cappers. And then you go to low cap alts. And then once all that is done and said and done, people will sell and go back into Bitcoin or fiat, whichever one it is. So I was thinking about it. I thought to myself, maybe that's the same thing of what's going to happen this time with this meme super cycle. You'll have fiat. You go to large cap memes like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. Then maybe you go to mid caps like Tomato Coin, Bonk and Pepe. And then maybe go to low cappers like Billy, Dog Go to the Moon, and Notcoin. And then maybe you go there and go real straight up gambling, and you go to Chill Guy. Or you go to, what is this one? Virtuals, one of the Virtuals, Game One. And then you take profits there and you stick them back into fiat. But I got to tell you, years ago, I remember buying Dogecoin in 2017. And I was like, well, I don't know what this is, but it's cheaper than Bitcoin. Bitcoin costs like $8,000 and Dogecoin only costs fractions of a penny. Someone's gonna do that. I did that. And then I sold too late actually. And I did that again in 2020 and I sold a little bit better. And now during the bear market, I bought a bunch of Doge and I'm going to sell again, but I'm going to buy back again. So I think that funds will come back into large caps. I just don't know if it'll be like during this bull market as far as for me. Now, remember what I said about Doge? And of course, people looking at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu is only, what is it? I think it's like, if you're a normie person and you're looking at price action, you're like, wait. You're telling me that Dogecoin is 50 cents or 60 cents, whatever it is, but you're telling me that Shiba Inu is a fraction of a penny and I can buy like 10 million of them right now? Okay, I'll just do that. And where is Shiba Inu offered? Well, it's on Coinbase, so it'll probably do awesome. You know what? I'm going to start buying Shiba Inu. Thanks for doing this for me. Okay. And that's probably how it'll go. How is Shiba Inu done over 7 days? All right. How about 1 month? How about 3 months? How about 1 year? Damn. I don't know what happened here. They must have burned a bunch of tokens. Let's take a look at Max though. This tells a better story. So Max, even if it does its all-time high, actually, let's take a look. How far away are we from that? It's 63% away from its all-time high. I still think it'll run pretty well. But look at Doge. Doge is 40% away. Pepe is only 9% away. And Bonk is 20% away. Dog with hat 32. So it could, but again, I still think it will because normies don't know the difference and they'll just buy stuff without even knowing. They'll be like, what's the market cap? What's tokenomics? What's unlocks? I don't know any of that stuff. I just know that's cheap and that's expensive. I'm waiting for them to come. Any thoughts of Cody? Cody, the currency of the internet, COTI? I'm not for sure. People seem to like the project itself. I don't own any of it, but it doesn't mean anything. Again, I own way too much stuff. Jerry's here and Panda Pie. Hello, everyone. Hold tight. Just took some problems with LCX. That's great. Remember, guys, it's going to be tough to take profit. It's easy to buy. It's easy to buy those dips. It's easy to dollar cost average. We've been doing it for 3 years, haven't we? The real test is who's going to take those profits. Stanza says, Cardano also has a wallet like Phantom. I think it's TKO wallet. Everybody TKO? No, I use Nami. There's another one that's actually better than that too. But I use Nami just for like the hot transactions. And then I use, I know I'm kind of like a boomer in this one, but I use Daedalus wallet because it's been around forever. It's dependable and I know it actually works. It just really sucks to, it doesn't suck because you have to download the whole node, whatever. So I run on a little node. Good old infinite supply guarantee of success. Nate says, thoughts on Ski Mask Dog? How high do you think it can go? That's a meme coin. And here's what meme coins do. You'll have a big blow off, like an initial run, and then it'll collapse. And then it'll take up a little bit and it'll collapse again. It has to go through 2 or 3 collapses before it actually takes off. So Ski Mask Dog, which is, this is kind of funny. That's not it. No, it's another base one. This doesn't look right. Let's go here. CoinGecko, exchanges. No. categories, memes, there it is. Ski mask dog. I don't know why I couldn't bring it up to, wow, 382% in 30 days. Let's see how we're looking. Okay, so that's pretty good. How high can it go? I would be taking profits right now. I would be taking some profits off the way. There's a video, Nate, it's called the half and half method. And I urge everybody to watch this. There's 5 crypto crucial videos in the description. And one of those is the half and half. If you double your money, I want you to take some profits. If you double it again, take more profits. If you double again, take profits. And take essentially 50%. So what you're doing is at the end of the day, you're just gambling with house money. And if you would have done this, like I talked about, if you'd have done this like with Ethereum, when it was worth a nickel or a dime, whatever it was, and you did the half and half, true, you wouldn't have $1 billion today. You'd probably only have like a measly $20 million. But how many of these cryptos have we rode all the way up and all the way down? I need you guys to be safe and take those profits and lock those in. So like I talked about, you know, like, look, you want to have as least worries that you can possibly have, and that's one way to do it. That's one way. One step. I see retail influencers mooning altcoins, but not Bitcoin. Bitcoin can take care of itself. That doesn't need me. That's for sure. 51 days until Orange Man is the office. Oh, good times ahead. Good times ahead. I like his FBI, or was the head of CIA? Gosh, his last name. That'll be interesting. Alfred says, are you holding much fiat, Rob? Much to my bank's chagrin, I am not. I have been buying like crazy over the last forever. So like that's why I had to take profits like 2 months ago to buy a real estate deal, because I was like, yeah, I don't have. I was like, whoops, I seem to have bought way too much crypto and my bank account is drained. So I had to sell a little bit of crypto to get into this apartment complex. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm not holding too much fiat. So if everything collapses, I'm okay with it, because I did what I thought was going to happen. I went from there. Digi, what's your exit strategy? I'm in Canada. I'm looking at Sol strategy and equity markets plus max out my TSFA. I think that's your retirement account over in Canada. Correct me though. Our Roth, yeah, it's our Roth IRA. Exit strategy is essentially links in the description. What I'm selling 50 to 80%. I actually have that video, and then at the very bottom of the description is I show you my last exit strategy in 2021, which did okay actually. I just used fractals and pretty much guesstimated what the price was going to be, and it worked out. I mean, worked out in Cardano, great. If Bitcoin, Ethereum, not so much. Theta worked out fantastic, but a couple ones didn't hit at all. But yeah, my goal is just to hit within 60% of the top, and I'll be very, very happy this cycle. Muy bueno. That's me. Bueno advice. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not so good. Roy says, what percentage of portfolios the other 65 crypto? Well, when I made that in January, it wasn't much. But now I'd say, gosh, 25% or something. Because all these low cappers, they didn't really take much to really accelerate the price appreciation. That's why I held on to them and was actually actively buying, because I knew, I'm like, look, these other 65, half are going to suck. I don't really care. But the other half will do pretty well, I think, or maybe even, 25%. That's what happened. So that's where I'm at right now. Does TANGEM support runes? It does not. I have to use Xverse on that one. But it supports everything else just about. And it actually even does, because it's a cold storage device and you actually start staking. Like I stake my Solana on TANGEM. Pretty cool. Red Panda, I don't know what to think about Charles. He is intelligent, that's for sure. His apologetic tweet plus noticing ADA will not make it without a change is something to underline. Let's wait and see. Yeah, I got to agree. He's, I got to tell you, best marketer of all time. That's hands down. Andy says, Rob, what wallet would you use for cold storage of Bitcoin, retirement, and inheritance, large stack? It would probably be Tangem or Ledger, because I know that they've never been hacked. So either of those is fine. I'm not a big fan of Ledger and that interface. And like I said, Tangem's been around since 2018, 2 million users, no hacks. Ledger's been around since even before then, and there's been no hacks. So I'll just stick with those two. You know what I'd probably do, Andy? I'd probably split it between those two. I'd put a little bit in Ledger and some on Tangem. That way, like if retirement inheritance, let's say I've got like 20 million or something, and then I put 10 on one and 10 on the other, and for some reason it gets hacked, I don't think both will get hacked as far as cold storage devices. So I'm like, well, he's got 10 million, doing pretty good. Oh yeah, Wu says Tangem has a 15% off of their Black Friday special. I'll do you one even better. I'll give you 20% off. Check this out. Let's go right here. Tangem. There's a link in the description where I describe how this works. And there's also that 20% off code. Watch this. Get Tangem. And right now, a 3 card is $70. 2 cards is $54.90. And a Tangem ring and 2 cards is $160. I'm not a big fan of the ring. I know some people love it, but whatever. So if you enter the code, try to Dan, D-A-N, and you get 20% off. So if you want one of those, go over there. I don't have one for Ledger, but I think it's just ledger.com. Don't answer that, Rob, without your lawyer. Should. Rob, you look older this time around. Well, it's probably because it's been 4 years. Let's see. Sold to 1,000. Yeah, there you go, Andy. What about Theta and T-Fuel? Did you, I still have Theta, and I've been staking it for like 2.5 years. And I've got a bunch of T-Fuel just sitting there on that my Theta wallet. So let's see how it does. Pulse chain. I hope you guys make it. I don't really have too much opinion on that one. The best AI picks for the next 6 months. Well, we've got, well, actually, let's just go on the list, shall we? If you guys want to find like categories, just go to CoinGecko, click on categories. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, it's AI agent, Legend, Launchpad. Forget that. Here's everything that they would consider AI. And the number one that you see is near protocol. Ilya Paluchkin, I always mess up his last name, but he's got big ties with NVIDIA. He's the co-founder of Near. And it seems like they're trying to do good things. 24, it's pretty good. I remember buying this at like nothing. This is crazy. ASI, FET, which is some people correct me yesterday. Rob, you know that FET is ASI and it's just fetch. I'm like, okay, well, every time I look at it, it says ASI. So there it is. Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance. I own some Render a little bit. I would go with that. Virtuals Protocol. Again, those are the AI agents. I would go there. Graph, I never got into, but who knows? Akash, I sold all that. I sold that because I needed to get that real estate deal, so I don't have any. Golem. Wow, Golem is still around? Do you know how old Golem is? It's like 20. Let me see something. Yeah, 2016. Jesus, I can't believe it's still around. IO.net could be a good one. That was my My other one that I was going to get into besides Aether. I don't know why Aether's not here, but whatever. IO.net, NOSAUM, we just talked about. That's the Solana AI deep in play. Singularity could be good. That's also part of the ASI, I believe. Based AI, interesting. And I don't know all of these. Nothing that I know. And of course, as you get down here, it gets more risky. Look at all this stuff. Yeah, I would just stick with the topper ones just to be safe. Unless somebody's got some insider information, you can tell me right now. I'll keep it a secret until the next live stream. Why Shiba is running? I told you. Because people that go into their exchanges, they don't know what the difference is between market caps and circulating supplies. They just know that it's 0.00007. And they can afford 1 million of that. If they can't afford 1 Ethereum, like that's $3,000. That's all they look at is price. You only found them? Great. Let me know how it goes. Solana, Solana $8. Vic, that was a pretty good pickup for you. Congratulations. Nice pull room. Thanks. It's fake. Is that a pull room paved with crypto? Actually, this is a photo of the house in Texas. And no, we've had this house for 2 decades. Again, time in the market, more important than timing the market. Daniel said, but if you were younger and wanted to save for your kids' college, would you go with the traditional 529 or would you buy Bitcoin? I would just buy Bitcoin. I mean, it only makes sense to me at this point. I mean, 529, because what happens? So you put away your tax deferred dollars into an account where it's like, hey, here you go. Let's say you start when your kid is 6 months old, right? And then 17 and a half years later, you're like, all right, time to go to college. Guess what? All the money that I saved for you just got inflated away because, you know, America loves to spend all our tax dollars and support every other country out there. So I'm sorry, the $1 million that we saved, and now we'll get you a Happy Meal. So no, for me, once you see how assets work and the fallacy of just saving dollars as they get inflated away and why inflation exists, you understand then why you should always own more assets, because it is the one thing that one always appreciate, but will do a heck of a lot better than, say, just holding the dollar for the long time. And you can take a look at just as everything gets adjusted for inflation. YouTube user, that's a pretty good handle. 2,000 watching and 10 likes. Well, that's pretty good. Gil says, is this time different this cycle? Meme coins got ahead of ETH and big caps. This time will be different in the respect that there are so many politicians and there are so many cabinet positions and there are so many 3-letter agencies that are now going to be pro-crypto. And this has never happened. The one thing that worried me about, it wasn't the government, because we don't need the government to move forward, right? I mean, Bitcoin and crypto is inevitable, but they sure as hell can slow things down. And we saw that with everything that dirty Gary Gensler touched. Essentially slowed everything down, and he was regulating by enforcement. And I think XRP would have probably been over $10 by now, easily. So this time it is different in that regard. And I will tell you one thing that's totally different is that we've never had a pro-crypto president. In 2012, no one really knew about Bitcoin when Obama took over. In 2016, Trump was not a fan. He said, I am pro-dollar and I want the dollar to be strong. In 2020, when Biden got in, I don't know what happened to him, but his administration pretty much said, we are going to not go in this direction, and we'll just kind of be like a hands-off. And if you watch that Andreessen Horowitz, Joe Rogan interview, you'll see just how corrupt the banking, not just the banking industry, but the Janet Yellen's and the Operation Choke Point 2.0 that actually came in as the government helped out the banks to suppress crypto digital assets. I know people say, yeah, but under the Biden administration, we got a Bitcoin ETF. That wasn't true. You know what it really was? There's 5 commissioners on the SEC, and Gary Gensler was the chair. 2 said yes, and 2 said no. And if it wasn't for Gary Gensler, who probably got a boatload of pressure from BlackRock, if it wasn't for his 1 vote, we wouldn't have the BlackRock ETF, or excuse me, the BlackRock ETF, the Bitcoin ETF. It would have just kept going, and we never would have had it. The only reason we had it, I think, is because there was so much pressure on Gary to do it. And you will notice the very next day, he came out, trotted off on MSNBC and CNBC and said, this is very risky. We did approve it, but So this wasn't the Biden administration. We're like, hey, let's get a Bitcoin ETF. No, it was people behind the scenes, which is where everything kind of actually happens. Whew. Leslie says, I tried Jupiter yesterday, not great. Let me know what the problem was. Yeah. Meld is a case showing why Solana will fail. You need to use these protocols for real world use. ETH is the real world. I mean, maybe. Has anybody used Ethereum for real world asset collaterals or tokenization? I'm just asking a question. I've never used it like that. The only thing I've used Ethereum for is to get gas so I can buy some useless meme coins. That's pretty much it. I don't think I've used it for anything else. Yeah, Jupiter's right. The old phrase, stop playing if you've already won the game. Random said, Ben made a few $1 billion and built his own nuclear bunker complex. It's a pretty nice nice one he's got. Kavana says, I love my Tangem, but I hate the exchanges that he uses. Even these things called swaps, I think they use 1 inch and something else. It's okay. I mean, it's not like it can actually be done. I will tell you, like, to get like Toncoin, that's the only way that I could get it was through my Tangem swap option. I thought it was pretty cool. Gizmo said, what's your prediction on total market cap? That's a good one. Never. Well, we're at 3.58 trillion, aren't we? Roughly 3.6. So we're almost at an all-time high. The 4 is right around the corner. I don't see why we can't hit 10 trillion market cap. Also, if you think about it this way, you know the market cap of gold in 2022 was $12.5 trillion. Gold. You know what it is right now? $18 trillion. Why can't we be, 10 trillion? That's like roughly, what, 40% of what gold actually is and for what we do? I could see 10 trillion beyond, but that's a big guess. And nobody knows. I will tell you my Bitcoin price prediction is between $500 and $500,000 for this run. Wouldn't it be great though if I was wrong and I went to like 600,000? I will trot out here and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought it was 500,000 and went to 600,000. As I'm wiping my face down with like loads of cash. Nah. Pepe for silly gains, I agree. Alam says, Rob, what changes do you think Trump's administration will bring in to compete with the rest of the world's crypto? Trump said USA will be leader in the world for crypto. Trump is not a politician. Well, if Trump listens to everybody around him, like my man RFK Jr. and Vivek and Canton, whatever this guy's name is, and even like JD Vance, the VP, which has, I want to say he's got over 500,000 in Bitcoin. Just listen to them, and I think we'll be just fine. I think there's 2 ways to look at this. They're either going to take that 238,000 or 236,000 Bitcoin that they have right now that they've seized, the U.S. government. Hopefully the Biden administration doesn't sell anymore, and they're just going to hold on to that, and that'll be the Bitcoin reserve. I'm like, okay, that's not great, but I'll take it. At least they won't sell it. And then the other option is to do what Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming talks about, where they're going to start to actively buy until they have accrued 1 million Bitcoin, which will take years to do. And in that situation, once the US starts, nobody wants to be the first, but nobody wants to be the last. So once America starts, it'll just be essentially a Bitcoin accumulation war. And they'll start buying like crazy. And then all that talk about there's a supply shock, which I've been hearing since 2017, will actually come to fruition. And there will be very difficult because the exchanges won't have enough. And then the price will go crazy. And there's only so much OTC you can buy. It's not like in Canada where they just found like $83 billion worth of gold in some reservoir. You're not just going to be able to find more Bitcoin. It's 21 million, and 6 million has already been lost. So I think it'll be crazy if they do what I think they're going to do. Wow, Bill, there is. I'll let you know when you get here. Actually, I'll tell you, Bill, I usually post out when we have meetups. We usually do it at Sidewind Smokehouse. We're going to do some other places. I already talked to Steven. I thought we should move things around. Good places. Some steakhouses, good places to get, little private chats and little drinks. Have an agenda. Should talk about things that will affect us all. So yeah. And just keep watching the channel or just follow me on X. Usually I post it there. How many Doge for a new Cybertruck? Well, that's assuming that you can get one delivered. I just saw a piece that I think it was November 2023 when they delivered their first Cybertruck. And I'm like, they're still backed up as far as with supply. I mean, that's going to happen. Yeah. In an economic sense, a rising tide lifts all boats. The U.S. Department of Education is incredibly inefficient. Is Mashinsky in prison yet? No, but his trial starts, I believe, in January 2025. So let's hope he gets put in prison because he deserves it. And what else? Holy smokes. Hey, we've gone an hour and 37 minutes. That's like the longest I've ever done one. I love Tangem, best UI of all of them. Ledger is archaic. It is very true. But it is dependable. I will say that. I mean, I can't take it away from them. They've never lost any crypto that I know about. But I mean, as time has gone, I haven't added anything more to Ledger. I just keep adding it to my Tangem wallet. Works out pretty great. Akash, I think, was sleeping for a while, finally woke up. I think you're going to hear a lot about these. A lot of things that you have bought in the bear market, a lot of the liquidity went to Bitcoin, 60%, as we talked about for Bitcoin dominance. Actually, I don't talk about it. That guy Ben does. And, he's right. And now we're starting to see a little bit of decline of Bitcoin dominance, which means that we're going to go to alts. Usually it flows into Ethereum, but I don't know, man. I know people will talk about it, but like I've used Ethereum. I just think it's very cumbersome and very expensive. And I know people say, but it's all about the layer twos, Robs. I tried it, man. It's just, maybe it's the wallets. Maybe it's the wallets that are bad. I don't know. I can't say that one. That's very funny. Joshua says, what if they dump on us? Who was it? It was somebody in the chats, because I always tell people, and I'll tell you right now, like, at some point I'm going to dump on everybody. I'm going to sell my bags, and that's it. Now, it's up to you if you're going to buy those bags or not. Maybe you're like me, and you're like, well, I've already bought as much as I possibly can. Around March, I'll probably stop. But somebody in the comments, I forgot his name, and he said, hey, Rob, just let you know that I sold Bitcoin and when it hit 99K. And I was like, oh, yeah, I bought at 99K because I have these dollar cost average autofills that go off on Coinbase. And I was like, just got dumped on. But we're all getting dumped on or dumping at some point. That's just how it is. Bitcoin world's currency. I think it'll be the world's commodity. That's for sure. Wouldn't that be funny if you guys all came down and I go, okay, here's a meetup, and let me introduce our founder, Peter Schiff, and he just walks in. He's like, I got you. That would be a plot twist of all time. Larry says, I think Trump will buy Bitcoin if he just keeps what we have. He's not fronting us. Doesn't sound like him. Hey, you know who front ran nations? Who front ran BlackRock? Who front ran all the institutions? And who front ran all these countries? Us. Us. Isn't that great? Think about that for a second. Let that sink in. We front ran everybody. I front ran Michael Saylor. Just saying. And I'll leave it like this. Rob can't tell us Peter Schiff is leader of the PR crypto community because he's sworn to secrecy. You heard it here first. You know, I should invite him to one of these meetups. Damn, that would be funny. Huh. It's a good one. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is very time sensitive, and everything's going to accelerate as we get into this big bull market. So just come back. We'll talk about some good things. But that's it for today. Go enjoy football and everything else. Enjoy your day. See you guys on the next one. Adios.